Welcome back to Piet and Grada. Today we want to talk about something that is the biggest cause of ill health that we see in our clinic, and we're talking about your stomach acid levels. And we want to explain that most people are diagnosed with too much stomach acid because they have a burning sensation in the stomach, but the real root cause of illness is low stomach acid levels or lack of sufficient stomach acid in your body, like hydrochloric acid it's really called, that's the official name. And so the worst thing is that people then go and buy alkalizers to soothe their stomach, but from that moment on your digestion goes downhill and your body starts to break down. So Piet will explain that a little bit better with a story of John, one of his clients who came to him. Do you want to describe what was going on for him, Piet?
Well, John came with total lack of energy. He was, his nails were poor. He was just lacking. He knew he was lacking nutrition at a basic level. No energy, hair loss, lack of libido. He was just, not feeling
bloating, belly aches.
But his digestive area, he was getting a lot of bloating, burping, and he'd been to the doctor and he was getting some reflux, and the doctor had put him on a medication to stop his acid production in his stomach. But we need that acid production to break down our food. So we'll get deficiency diseases if we don't have enough stomach acid. If we don't have enough acid in our stomach, then we don't break our food down properly. We don't kill the bacteria that are on our food when we swallow it. They stay alive, the food doesn't break down, so it starts fermenting with the bacteria. They produce the gas that give us burping, bloating and reflux. Plus that acid has to be extremely strong. It's one of the most acidic places on earth is our stomach. Mm-hmm. And it's that stomach acid that operates that valve at the bottom of the esophagus. So if we don't have enough stomach acid, then that valve will open.
And then it will let undigested...
let acid food, which it's still acid at a...
comes back up the esophagus and it creates a burning feeling.
Yeah, and that people do get acid reflux, but it's always due to not enough hydrochloric acid. And then if they get H. pylori or ulcers in the stomach, that's due to lack of stomach acid, because normally that acid would kill everything that goes into the stomach. That's our protective mechanism before it goes through and takes up residence in our body. So parasites and bacteria, bad bacteria, need to be killed off. I tell people they need to replenish their good bacteria every day, but if you rely on a capsule that opens in the stomach, they'll all be dead. So you need a capsule that goes through the stomach, or spore probiotics that withstand that stomach acid as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, so John luckily came to Piet, but this was after 5 years of taking Nexium type of products. So his health had deteriorated over those years, and he thought it was old age, but John wasn't very old. He was only in his 40s, right? So that's still very young, and you should still be in the prime of your life at that age, when you're that age. So John came to Piet for a full health audit. So Piet, what he does, he looks under the bonnet, he lifts up the bonnet of the car, looks at the cells of your body, the cellular health, and if that's breaking down, then he looks for causes, whether it could be your stomach, your liver, your kidneys, and how they interact with each other. Piet does a series of tests. It's called the full health audit.
Plus I can tell quite a bit from the live blood, the red cells in the live blood.
That's right. You can tell what your chemistry is doing, if you have too much candida and things like that. All the markers are there, right? So with John, he had quite a few things wrong with him, but the root cause was, of course, that his stomach wasn't producing enough acid, which is often due to stress. So a lot of people are like John. They have way too much stress. They're burning the candle on both ends. So you live your life in stress and overwhelm not sleeping properly, and before you know it, your stomach is not making enough hydrochloric acid.
Yes, when we're meant to be running away from danger in stress mode, the last thing our body thinks it needs to do is digest our food. So it stops hydrochloric acid production.
It shuts it down. Yeah. That's right. So John had to do a few things, but one thing he had to do was to take betaine HCl, which is like a wonderful product that restores your health, right? And it's very cheap in my opinion as well. It's only like $43, and it's got 240 capsules, which will last you for a long time.
Derived from the beetroot, and the HCl part is hydrochloride, which is hydrochloric acid, and that increases the acid in the stomach at mealtime.
You probably haven't seen this on the supermarket shelf because it's not readily available, but I mean, we've been stocking it for nearly 20 years. And people have amazing results. There is a way to do it that we explain to people when they come and buy it. So you don't just take 20 tablets at once, right? You start off with 1 tablet with each meal, and then you gradually build up till you feel a warming sensation in your body. But we share it with people when they buy the product.
And
so
just another thing with John, he was also what we call anabolic, which means his cells weren't getting the nutrients into them.
Because the cells
and his cells that produce the hydrochloric acid weren't getting those things into them to produce the hydrochloric acid, and they weren't able to let it out at mealtime either. So that's one of the tests I do in the full health audit reveals whether people are anabolic or catabolic.
Which just means your cells are either too open or the cell membranes are too closed. So there's a mechanism that keeps your body healthy as well. So your body has all these different mechanisms that create perfect health. But if one gets stuck, which can happen, and it happens a lot, then all the rest of your mechanisms go out.
Have a domino effect right throughout your health.
So John, of course, he did feel a lot better. What he actually said, I had no idea all of this could be linked to my stomach acid. I thought it was getting old, and I feel like I've got it 10 years back. Well, he probably feels like it's got 20 years back by now. So most people do need help with producing hydrochloric acid. So like if you think of your stomach as a fire, it needs to be a nice warm campfire, not like smoldering embers, and then every time you drink water. So when people drink with their meals, they also kill their stomach acid fires, right?
Yeah.
So drink away from your meals. Don't drink anything till about 2 hours after your meal. And so other things that really contribute to low stomach acid is like stress in your body, or you're going through crisis time that will shut it down, antibiotics, medication, chronic illness, fatigue, accidents, sluggish liver or gallbladder, or not having a gallbladder, overuse of different products, and of course as well a diet too high in processed food. And then of course you start to get mineral deficient, nutrient deficient, and you get all sorts of signs of toxicity, which also come out through the skin. And what Peter already mentioned, when you notice your nails are getting brittle or your eyesight is going haywire, that's another sign that you don't have enough stomach acid.
We also had another client who was on Nexium for years due to really bad reflux problems, and she had to go off Nexium even though she still had the reflux problems because she was becoming very osteoporotic. So she wasn't getting the nutrients there to make good strong bones with.
No, that is like a good point. Yeah. They say that women, because osteoporosis mainly affects women, it does really affect men too, but mostly women, we have to start building our bone health in our 20s, right? So that you have good bone health in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. And by the way, we've seen people actually make a comeback from osteoporosis. So it's not the end of the world if you have been diagnosed with all of that. We can tell you what to do to rebuild strong bones, because every year you have a completely new skeleton.
One of those is get the digestion cranked up to get the nutrients out of your food.
Also, we forgot to say, by the way, I'm just reading the article, low stomach acid levels can create terrible brain fog as well. So like you're living in a fog, like your brain is not thinking clearly and you're losing your memory. And that can be another sign of brain low stomach acid levels.
And deteriorating eyesight, because the muscles in the eyes are the smallest muscles in the body, the ones that correct the vision, and if they lack amino acids, which is the breakdown from proteins, then your vision will deteriorate.
So I hope you find this interesting, and it's like super important because your stomach acid is your first line of defense, your first line of where you're getting nutrition from. The nutrients start to be released from the food that you eat, so you can eat really good food, a bit high in protein and good fats and all the rest, but if your stomach acid is low, you need to supplement with beta and HCl, or a kind of one. Proton Plus is another really good one as well. So
and there may be imbalances in your body that are causing that low hydrochloric acid imbalance. So come and see me, and we'll be able to set you on the right path.
Just to finish off, how many people, what percentage of the world population, or at least in Australia I should say, then do you think suffers from low hydrochloric acid, Pete? What's your guess? And then I'll tell you mine.
I'd say probably 80%.
Yeah, I was going to say 95% perhaps. But between 80 and 90% then of people.
Because our bodies start slowing down at about age 30, so
Also, and for proof of that, apparently Nexium and antacid over-the-counter medication is the most sold medication in the world. So that's another indicator that people are treating themselves the wrong way with, killing their stomach acid because their tummies are burning.
Plus over-the-counter antacids like Mylanta, and they have aluminium in. So steer clear of aluminium wherever possible, because they cause your red cells all to stick together and create kidney and heart disease.
Also creates Alzheimer. Aluminium is like the main root cause of Alzheimer in humans, which is something to be avoided at all costs. Alright, so I hope you found this interesting. Do yourself a favor, check in with your stomach, read the article that we attach here, and it's got some checkpoints, and then maybe you recognize, oh, that's me. Sometimes it's you maybe a few days in the week when you have to work extra hard and you might be producing enough stomach acid on the weekend, or when you go on a holiday, suddenly you feel like your digestion is going good, so then you can gauge it yourself. But on days that you're going to be highly stressed, you will probably need to supplement with some beta and HCl with your meals. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you have a really wonderful week, and look forward to being with you next week. Bye for now.